So, what are we going to be doing today? Here are the aims for the IELTS session. Of course, as you know, it's going to be a writing-focused session. We're going to start with a mini quiz on IELTS Writing Task 2. We're then going to do a Writing and IELTS Task 2 introduction style exercise. That's what we're focusing on today. We're going to look at good flashback introductions, what makes a good introduction, the importance of paraphrasing, writing a thesis statement, outlining your essay, and then we'll practice, if we had time, writing an introduction at the very end. And we'll finish off with a brief evaluation and Q&A where you can ask me your questions about today's class, about your IELTS preparation, who I am, what we do at Swoosh English, how we can help you pass your exam the very, very first time. So an action-packed session today. 4 sections is what you should write for an IELTS essay. Introduction, a main body A, a main body B, and a conclusion. But what do these look like? Let's quickly assess your knowledge of IELTS essay structure. We have 4 different sections of an essay here. Let's name them 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's match the heading to the body. So what exactly makes a good introduction? So it shows how you will fully complete the given task. It shows that you understand the issues presented in the class, in the task. It clearly outlines the essay structure. This essay will blah, 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 in blah, blah, blah. That needs to happen. And it highlights the main areas that you will write about. So as you can see, I don't think writing an introduction in terms of knowing what to write is relatively hard. Of course, the hard part is writing it and making sure it's nice and fluid, but that's the main takeaway. 3 different points to an IELTS introduction. If you keep these 3 points in mind, you should be able to write something that's relatively accurate and will do well for your task completion in terms of the introduction relatively easily. Now, how do you pass the IELTS exam the first time? Simple. 4 steps. Do you have the motivation to succeed? Second thing is time. Do you have enough time? Thirdly, do you have tools? Do you have effective learning tools for studying? And finally, do you have support and feedback? Let's get started. An introduction to OET by Swoosh. So in today's lesson for OET, of course writing focused, we're going to have a break quiz on the OET writing criteria breakdown. There's going to be a breakdown of the OET criteria, writing criteria, and we also compare that to IELTS very briefly as well. Like we looked at an introduction for IELTS, we're kind of looking at what is an OET introduction. It's by expressing purpose in OET writing. We're going to analyze what the criterion for purpose requires, what exactly is purpose in OET, and we're going to analyze some sample answers, and you guys can try writing your own as well. And then, of course, have another Q&A on OET at the very end and an evaluation about how this class went. Okay, now when you're doing the OET exam, this is the scoring criteria that the examiners will use to score your writing. It's important to remember that OET uses a range of letter types to assess writing skills. We talked about how there's a referral letter, a discharge letter, and a transcript letter, etc. Now, here's an example. Now, keep in mind that this example is taking a bit more information from the case notes. Don't worry. It says, Mrs. Spencer has been a patient in this hospital for the past 5 weeks and will be transferred tomorrow. He requires your ongoing support and treatment during his rehabilitation. Just to show you a different way of writing, it doesn't go into the usual way of saying, I am writing to transfer, I am writing to refer, etc., etc. But as I said, most of your letters were sound because they got that essential information about the kind of letter it is, transferred, why you're doing it, ongoing support and rehabilitation during his treatment, and writing it in a suitably clinical style.